Hi, my name is Chris Ziebell, and I'm the broker for Realty One Group Beyond in Clearwater. And today I thought we would discuss a little bit about where the market is heading. Everybody's freaking out about the real estate market in general. It's slowed down drastically. There's not a lot of buyers and sellers out there purchasing right now, and everybody's attributing that to the current interest rates. The massive lawsuits against NAR and major brokerages are really not helping. And so a lot of realtors are wondering, is this really the career I want to be in right now? So I thought we'd tackle that topic today and really dive into it and talk to a couple of the lenders as well and see how they see the market moving forward. One thing I wanted to address is the lack of inventory and lack of buyers. Now, the correlation between interest rates right now and the market situation is pretty clear. You got a bunch of sellers who have a current mortgage and the interest rate's really low. So for them to sell that home, to upgrade the home, buy a more expensive home, and take on an interest rate that is possibly double or even more than that compared to their previous mortgage, it's not really incentivizing. So a lot of sellers are sitting tight, waiting for the interest rates to drop before they make that type of move. Just doesn't make a lot of financial sense right now to give up that mortgage that has an incredibly low interest rate. The other thing that we're seeing is on the buy side, buyers are skeptical about moving forward with their purchases because the interest rates are so high. Something you can talk about with your buyers right now is that it may not be the best strategy to just sit around waiting for the interest rates to drop. And the reason is that once the interest rates do start to drop, there's going to be a lot of buyers who are going to be jumping in from the sidelines, and that's likely going to have an impact on the prices of the homes. Also, there's nothing preventing them refinancing if the interest rates go down. In addition to which, lenders have come up with very innovative ways to get that interest rate locked down to a reasonable level if you choose to pull the trigger right now. There's products being offered to sellers where they can offer this as an incentive to the buyers. One product's called the list and lock, where the seller can actually lock and buy down the interest rate for the buyer for the duration of the loan. And probably a smarter product out there right now is going to be a temporary buy down. It's going to be reasonably priced. The seller can offer to purchase this for the buyers for 1 year or 2 years, during which time it is highly likely that those interest rates are going to come down and the buyer can do a refi. So there's various ways for buyers to work around the current interest rates that make sense. It's still going to probably be a better play than renting. And so if they're not looking to sell a home and are just looking to buy, there really is very little reason to keep sitting in the sidelines. So I try to encourage the buyers who really want to buy their own home to assess what their monthly payment will be, what they can afford, and just operate based on that. Because even though everybody's saying that the interest rates are going to come down, and they likely will, what if they don't? What if they keep increasing? There's really no downside in buying right now, because if the interest rates go down, you can refinance. If they go up, well, you got a better interest rate today than you would if they end up going up, which again is highly unlikely, as we will find when we talk to a couple of lenders here shortly. When it comes to sellers and you're thinking about, well, should I really sell because I'm going to be taking on a higher interest rates? That is a trickier problem, because a lot of the times it really doesn't make sense for them to be selling right now. The sellers that are being active either don't care about the interest rate because they're financing either a really small portion of their new purchase or nothing at all. Or they have some sort of other reason that is pressing them timing wise to make the move. If the seller can afford to, a lot of them are holding on to that previous property and renting it out. Of course, a lot of home buyers are not going to qualify for the new loan with keeping on the previous loan and the previous home, the previous mortgage, but the ones who can, many of them are opting to do that because they can turn their previous home into an income producing property, rent it out, and it's going to make financial sense. It's going to be income producing because they have such a low interest rate on the mortgage. And then they go ahead and purchase the new home with a new mortgage. So there's really not much we can do as real estate professionals to try to incentivize sellers to sell right now, but we can show them that as buyers, making the move right now might make sense, and sitting on the sidelines is probably not the best way to go. I would like to speak to a couple of lenders now and hear their thoughts on where are the interest rates going. We're going to go to Myron Chamberlain with Prime Lending, one of my favorite lenders, and he's going to give his 2 cents on the topic.
Wonderful question, and it's one that everybody is asking right now. I do believe there is a sense of optimism for 2024. As we saw in 2023, rates went higher than anyone expected. They touched 8%, and that's been a very challenging thing for home buyers. Next year, all signs are pointing, in my opinion, towards lower rates. Interest rates are tied to two functions: inflation and overall economic activity. We have seen very clear sign that inflation is decreasing, and decreasing in the right direction towards the Fed's level of 2%. And so because rates are so strongly tied to inflation, as that number continues to come down, we will see mortgage rates follow suit. And I think it's reasonable to assume that next year we'll see rates beginning with the 6 and possibly even into the 5s, depending on how that goes. So loan amounts are a very important piece of the home buying process, and also a factor that drives home buying activity. Once a year, the FHFA comes out with home price limits, and it is for every county and every state in America. That just happened this week, and there's two types of loan limit changes that we saw. One is called a conventional loan limit, and one is called FHA. So in 2023, our conventional loan limit for 95% of the counties across the U.S., maybe even 98%, was $726,200. In 2024, that level has been increased to $766,550. And that is a huge benefit for home buyers. It keeps them out of the jumbo loan category, and it makes obtaining a home and financing much easier. The other type is called FHA, and FHA limits were also changed, and for most counties in America, the previous loan amount was $472,030, and this year that has been increased to $498,257. Those changes, for the most part, are for loans that are delivered next year, but almost all lenders are implementing those today, so you can take advantage of the higher loan limits now. One other factor that goes into loan limits, going back to our point on inflation, is that inflation, the core measure of inflation that the Fed uses is called the PCE, personal consumption expenditures. That level hit almost 6.5% at the height of inflation. As of this morning, that number just came back down to 3.5%. So we are certainly trending in the right direction. And as that PCE index gets back to 2%, which is the Fed's desired target, we should see interest rates follow suit. And that'll be a welcome sign for everybody. Thank you so much for having me. This is Myron Chamberlain with the Chamberlain Group at Prime Lending. You can find us online at myronchamberlain.com, or feel free to call or text anytime. Our direct line is 480-358-7801.
All right. Thank you, Myron. That was fantastic. And next up, we're going to go to Debbie Howard with CMG Financial. I love CMG Financial. They have really excellent, innovative products that are extremely helpful in this market. I do like some of the products they've come up with, like the List and Lock. It actually sounds really great, and it can be a real booster for you to get a listing if you are aware of the product and are able to explain it to your seller. But there's also other alternatives out there that can make a whole lot of sense, and most lenders are offering those. But let's go to Debbie and hear what her thoughts are on where the interest rates are going to be going.
We definitely believe interest rates are coming down or going to come down in 2024. We're starting to see the inflation figures lower, and there are projections that the Fed will actually lower the short-term rates or start cutting the short-term rates by May, and both of those will have a very favorable effect on mortgage rates. Right now, the biggest hurdle for buyers is interest rate. And we have an exclusive list and lock advantage where the seller can lock in a below market rate and ensure that buyer is getting a discounted rate on their property. This is going to attract more buyers and sell the house faster. And then we also have a temporary buy down, which is up to 3% for 3 years. That or the list and lock advantage can be combined with our rate rebound offer, which is where the borrower can refinance with no lender fees, no appraisal fees, $1,000 toward their title fees. So virtually a free refinance to capture that once the rates really do come down to a better permanent interest rate. So when you're ready for more information on any of these programs, give me a call. It's Debbie Howard, CMG Home Loans, 615-202-7789. Thank you.